Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, President Trump has announced his newest pick for Labor Secretary. We'll explain why he's a first for the new president.
And then you have a new choice for nightlife here in Lexington. We'll size up the late night scene. And a new option is brewing for tourists exploring the Shenandoah Valley and our local beers.
And later, Perry McClure is inviting police officers into the classroom to give students the inside scoop on crime prevention. All that and more next on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Kinsey Grant.
And I'm Bryn McCarthy. President Donald Trump announced his new second nominee for Labor Secretary this afternoon, one day after his first nominee, Andrew Puzder, withdrew from consideration.
The nominee for Secretary of the Department of Labor will be Mr. Alex Acosta. He has a law degree from Harvard Law School. He's a great student, former clerk for Justice Samuel Alito, and he has had a tremendous career. He's a member and has been a member of the National Labor Relations Board and has been through Senate confirmation 3 times, confirmed, did very, very well. And so Alex, I've wished him the best. We just spoke, and he's going to be, I think he'll be a tremendous Secretary of Labor.
In the latest phone scam in the area, the caller threatens residents with arrest unless they immediately pay a fine using a prepaid Visa card for allegedly missing jury duty. A scammer using what looked like a local number posed as a deputy of the Rockbridge County Sheriff's Office, but then the Sheriff's Office called his bluff.
A new state audit has found problems with the cybersecurity of the Virginia Department of Taxation. The audit said that the department has not updated critical security patches to protect the tax department's systems. State cybersecurity rules mandate software updates within 90 days of the update's release. The Department of Taxation said it's working with partner Northrop Grumman, an American aerospace and defense technology company based in Falls Church, Virginia, to make sure its security patches are up to date. And members of Congress from both parties want more answers regarding the resignation of White House National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Karen Kafa reports from Washington.
Capitol Hill Democrats and Republicans have more questions about former White House National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
We're looking for facts and we're looking for evidence.
We want to get to the bottom of these activities.
We need to ask questions first and find out whether the scope of that committee or investigation needs to be expanded.
But there are different thoughts on what to target. Democrats want to go broad.
A core part of the House Intelligence Committee investigation has to be any Russian collusion with the Trump campaign, any contact with U.S. persons.
Reports emerged Tuesday that multiple high-level Trump advisors had frequent communications with Russians known to U.S. intelligence during the presidential campaign. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi reiterated her call for an outside commission to delve into ties between Trump aides and Russia.
So let's take it away from Congress and the White House. Let's put it in the hands of an independent commission.
Some House Republicans say it's leaks by the intelligence community and possible motivations that need to be immediately reviewed.
We need to find out who the leaking moles are who are violating federal law inside this government, because we can't function at a national security standpoint if we've got that kind of spillage coming out of the intelligence community.
Republican congressional leaders have suggested an investigation of Flynn can be handled by a committee already investigating Russian attempts to influence the 2016 U.S. election. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
In a press conference earlier today, President Donald Trump defended Mike Flynn, calling him a fine person. Trump bashed media for leaking classified information and called it the real problem.
President Trump threw new curveballs into the Middle East peace process Wednesday. He directly and publicly asked Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to hold back on building new settlements. And Mr. Trump backed off from decades of U.S. support for a two-state solution, saying he'd be fine with whatever agreements the Israelis and Palestinians could reach. CNN's global affairs correspondent Elise LeBeau reports.
President Trump made a remarkable break in decades of U.S. policy, backing away from the two-state solution that would give Palestinians their own state.
I'm looking at two-state and one state, and I like the one that both parties like. I'm very happy with the one that both parties like. I can live with either one.
Still, Trump insisted that he was committed to a peace deal.
We'll be working on it very, very diligently. Very important to me also, something we want to do. But it is the parties themselves who must directly negotiate such an agreement. We'll be beside them. We'll be working with them.
And he made clear he wasn't giving Netanyahu a blank check.
As with any successful negotiation, both sides will have to make compromises. You know that, right?
And with a playful tone, warned Netanyahu to stop settlement expansion in the West Bank that has grown exponentially since Trump took office.
As far as settlements, I'd like to see you hold back on settlements for a little bit. We'll work something out.
Referring to, quote, other players at the peace table, the president wants to enlist Arab states who share Israel's concern about Iran to help close the deal.
I think we're going to make a deal. It might be a bigger and better deal than people in this room even understand. That's a possibility. So let's see what we do.
Let's try it.
Doesn't sound too optimistic, but that's he's a good negotiator.
That's the art of the deal.
Netanyahu embraced Trump's tough message to the Palestinians.
I think the Palestinians have to get rid of some of that hate that they're taught from a very young age. They're taught tremendous hate.
And he lavished praise on Trump's negotiating skills and courage, as well as his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, Trump's close advisor, who he tapped as his personal peace envoy.
Can I reveal, Jared, how long we've known you? Well, he was never small. He was always big. He was always tall. But I've known the president, and I've known his family and his team for a long time. And there is no greater supporter of the Jewish people and the Jewish state than President Donald Trump.
The Vatican made a statement yesterday which sided with Native Americans in South Dakota. Pope Francis said that indigenous people must give consent to economic development occurring on their ancestral lands. The statement, made at a UN agricultural meeting, contradicts the Trump administration's executive order allowing the Dakota Access Pipeline to be built on the Cheyenne River and standing Rock Sioux lands. The tribes allege the pipeline will infect their drinking water as well as desecrate religious and cultural sites. The company building the pipeline, Texas-based Energy Transfer Partners, has insisted the water supply will be safe.
Students at Perry McClure High School in Buena Vista are getting a closer look at local law enforcement. Faith Isbell has the story.
It's not every day that an 8th grader gets to hold an evidence bag of cocaine, but at Perry McClure High School, it is all part of the day's lesson with the new Junior Police Academy.
One thing that I like the program is they realize now that they're getting to be adults. They need to know how to behave. They need to know the repercussions if they don't behave.
Each week, students learn about criminal investigations, traffic stops, gang violence, and drug abuse. The students also practice basic skills such as CPR and fingerprinting.
Students have loved it. They seem very engaged, very focused.
2 detectives from the Rockbridge Regional Drug Task Force visited the class on Tuesday. The detectives explained the danger of drug abuse and brought drug samples for the students to see.
Somebody's going to learn something, and if it saves one kid's life, you know, we've done our job.
36 students have completed the program since last August. Participants say the program has strengthened the relationship between the police and students.
What it mainly is to get the kids to see the police in a different role, not always as an authoritarian, but as a person that they can approach and they can talk to.
They're pretty nice, and if you ever need to talk to them, they're always there.
The 3rd session of the Junior Police Academy is set to graduate in 4 weeks. Perry McClure plans to continue the program next year. I'm Faith Isbell with the Rockbridge Report.
The race for Virginia's governor is starting to unfold in ways that echo the presidential campaign. Republican candidate Corey Stewart was President Trump's one-time Virginia campaign chairman. Stewart said Trump's election has paved the way for candidates to be profane or politically incorrect. Like Trump, Stewart has also taken to name-calling. He's calling opponent Ed Gillespie Establishment Ed. Gillespie is a former Republican National Committee chairman. Trump critics and fans view the Virginia gubernatorial election as a referendum on his first year in office. Coming up, we'll tell you about Colorado's growing forest fire threat.
And we will have a sudsy way to draw tourists to Rockbridge County. We'll hit the beer trail.
A little chilly the past few days, but prepare for some warmer weather this weekend. Find out more in your 5-day forecast.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Smokey. Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
He's on his way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay. Laura. Okay, try to call him again. There's no signal. Try. Nothing's working. Well, just Everything's try. down. This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Welcome back. A beetle infestation in Colorado's forests has left 1 in 14 trees dead. The estimated 834 standing dead trees threaten to worsen wildfires and degrade vital water supplies that flow from the mountains. Although the beetles are native to the state, they've done much more damage than in previous years, attacking more than 20% of forested land. Officials are still unsure of whether the tree die-off will worsen or level off as the outbreak progresses. Trees killed by beetles can make wildfires burn for longer and sometimes hotter. This can make fires more difficult and costly to extinguish, which puts firefighters in more danger. And communities in eastern New Hampshire are bracing for several more inches of snow. That's in addition to roughly 2 feet that have already accumulated. Plow operators in Rochester are expecting to work all night. And the winter weather is also keeping things busy at a local hardware store, where falling snow means dollar signs. It's hard to imagine that much snow when we've had weather like this the past week. So what are we seeing? More heat, or are we going to get snow like the north?
No snow down here, just warm weather over the weekend. So let's take a look at our live shot over Woods Creek. And so let's take a look at today's almanac. We had a high of 42 degrees today and a low of 27. Barometer is reading 29.84 inches of mercury. High wind speeds at 22 miles per hour, and boy, are we feeling it today. Humidity at 38%, and let's take a look at the area weather. Sunny or cloudy kind of all around. Charlottesville with 44 degrees. A little chilly in Covington with 30 degrees. Roanoke down at 44, and Stanton at 38. So let's take a look at the radar screen. Not too much going on here, but hopefully it's bringing warm weather. And let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. So Friday we will have a high of 57 and a low of 35, sunny there, and on Saturday more sun with a high of 66 and a low of 43. Moving into Sunday, still sunny with a high of 65 and a low of 39. Monday we're still keeping the sun around with a high of 64 and a low of 42. We're going to see a little bit of clouds on Tuesday with a high of 67 and a low of 44. So that's your 5-day forecast. Kinsey and Bryn, back to you.
Breweries normally compete for beer drinkers, but county tourism officials say Rockbridge brewers are joining forces to promote their products and tourism in Rockbridge County. Sutton Travis takes us down the trail.
Rockbridge County's 3 craft beer breweries might have their own techniques, but one thing connects them all: the Shenandoah Beer Works Trail. Tourism directors from Stanton, Augusta, Waynesboro, Harrisonburg, and the Rockbridge area teamed up last May to create this advertising campaign.
Everybody has their own trade secrets and their own special brews and flavors and techniques. But I think everybody's also been real interested in trying to collaborate.
The trail connects 13 breweries from Harrisonburg to Rockbridge County and highlights other nearby attractions.
It's just a great way to get people to go up and down the valley and to spread out their visits through the different communities.
One of the newest is the Great Valley Farm Brewery in Natural Bridge. It opened in October.
We've really been happy with the response that we've gotten off the Beer Works Trail.
Locals and tourists alike are flocking in to admire the brewery's scenery.
It's an absolutely gorgeous day with a phenomenal view.
The Devil's Backbone Outpost in Lexington opened in 2008 and is now expanding. The company is clearing the land behind its building. Craft beer has captivated the interest of author Joseph McCoskrie. He is writing a book about the nationwide rise of the craft beer industry.
The craft brew industry has found a window of economic opportunity to grow in the United States.
Another brewery, the Blue Lab Brewing Company, is closed until the owners can relocate to a building with more space. They hope to reopen in the next 6 months. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Sutton Travis.
Up next, we'll show you Lexington's newest spot for nightlife.
And later, Waddell Elementary is dancing the night away. We'll show you their killer moves.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out! For summer. What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Lexington students and locals can now dance the night away at a remodeled bar and dance floor at Salerno's Bar 115. Katrina Lewis has the story.
In Lexington, there aren't many nightlife options.
I think probably a lot of Lexington centers around, like either undergrads or people here to look at Civil War history. So certainly, I'm sure in a lot of ways that makes an impact.
Salerno owner Jason Harris wanted to change that. He said a Washington and Lee law student gave him the idea to convert the upstairs of his restaurant into a late-night bar and dance floor.
She said that they really have no place to go and dance, and so they either go to Roanoke or they go to Charlottesville. Or last ditch effort, they may go across the street to one of my other competitors.
Salerno is almost directly across the street from Tong Dynasty, the only other place in town with a dance floor.
I mean, I understand I think they're trying to go after maybe a little bit of the Tongs crowd, so it was kind of Tongs-ish, like dancing and louder music.
But law students appreciate having another option.
Compared to what I just experienced with going to Salerno's last night, there was a lot more space, and it wasn't as claustrophobic as I felt like Tong's was, so that's kind of interesting.
The owner of Tong Dynasty refused to comment, but a neighbor living in the Global Service House behind Salerno said she has her doubts.
Although I guess my one concern as a neighbor, like any other neighbor, would just be that the noise might be a little bit too loud when it gets really late at night.
City manager Noah Simon said Salerno is expected to be respectful of its neighbors.
We ask that everybody, whether it's a business or the occupants or patrons of a business, everybody be considerate of where they are, what they're next to, and how the activity that they're engaging in may affect folks that are nearby.
Salerno plans to host theme nights like disco or country. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Katrina Lewis.
In the wake of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un's half-brother's death, speculation abounds. 3 suspects have been arrested in conjunction with the half-brother's death, which is thought to be an assassination contracted by Kim Jong-un. The half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, died suddenly at a Malaysian airport this week. Officials say he told medical workers he was sprayed by a chemical. An autopsy has been completed, but not released. The half-brothers have been estranged for several years, and the National Intelligence Service said that the North Korean president has been trying to kill Kim Jong-nam for 5 years.
Up next, it's baseball season again. We'll give you the scoop on spring sports.
And later, Washington and Lee swimmers are diving in. We'll show you the new natatorium.
Jimmy can't sing,
and Tommy can't dance,
so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Every budget, so don't accept defeat.
Now you can get covered and still
buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Residents who live near the Oroville Dam in California are resting a bit easier. Some are back in their homes after a mandatory evacuation ordered that displaced more than 100,000 people was lifted on Tuesday. Wet weather caused erosion of an emergency spillway last weekend and led to fears that the dam could fail. Crews worked overtime to stabilize the spillway. They moved 1,200 tons of rock and slurry each hour and used helicopters to help. Authorities say they have been able to drop the level of Lake Oroville enough so that it can withstand forecasted storms without flooding.
These are fairly small storms, especially compared to what we saw before. And when I say that, those are modeled based on the expected or forecast snow line, which is how much rain or snow we'll get. And so with the high rate of release we have from the reservoir right now, which is 100,000 CFS, we actually won't see or shouldn't see a bump in the reservoir.
Kate Upton landed the coveted spot of the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition for the 3rd time. Upton first graced the cover in 2012 and then again in 2013. Included in this year's issue are athletes Simone Biles, Serena Williams, and Eugene Bouchard, as well as 63-year-old model Christy Brinkley, who was on the cover in 1979. The magazine went on stands yesterday. So Emma, not only were there a lot of high-profile celebrities in this edition of Sports Illustrated, but can you tell us a little bit more about this upcoming weekend?
Sure, Bryn. The NBA All-Star Weekend begins tomorrow in New Orleans. The weekend kicks off with a celebrity game at 7 p.m. on ESPN before a skills competition at 8 p.m. on Saturday. The All-Star Game is on Sunday at 8 p.m. on TNT. Looking to local basketball, the Rockbridge County men's basketball team fell to Northside 59-39 in the Conference 31 semifinal game last night. Julie Lynch led the Wildcats with 9 points. Perry McClure women's basketball team won their Conference 45 semifinal game against Radford last night, winning 45-26. Peyton Muller led the Fighting Blues with 18 points. The men's team plays Covington in their semifinal game tonight at 7:15. Both Washington and Lee basketball teams were in action last night, with the men's team squeaking out a victory over Randolph. Senior guard Andy Kleinlein shot a three-pointer as time expired to give the team an 85-82 win over their Old Dominion Athletic Conference foe in overtime. The women's team dropped their game against Emory and Henry in similar fashion. With 4 seconds remaining, Emory and Henry hit a layup to send the game to its final score of 63-61. Junior Aylin Kelly led the Generals with 21 points. Washington and Lee men's lacrosse team rebounded from a loss on Saturday to beat Christopher Newport 14-6. Sophomore AJ Witherell led the team with a career-best 8 points on 4 goals and 4 assists. Washington and Lee's baseball team took the mound yesterday against Ferrum College, winning the game 3-1. The pitching staff held the Panthers to 1 run on 2 hits. VMI men's basketball lost a tough SoCon game last night to Chattanooga, falling 74-68. Armani Branch had a career-high 23 points, but the Cadets could not overcome a 9-point halftime deficit. Southern Virginia's basketball teams both fell to nationally ranked Christopher Newport last night. The women's team fell 99-61, while the men lost 69-45. The Washington and Lee swim team celebrated their Old Dominion Athletic Conference titles by jumping into their new pool on Tuesday. Highlighting the weekend, senior captain Emily Rollo claimed ODAC Women's Swimmer of the Year, junior Tommy Thetford received Scholar Athlete of the Year, and first-year Allie McQueen garnered ODAC Rookie of the Year. Back to you, Brandon.
Students at Waddell Elementary in Lexington showed off their dance moves at their annual sock hop Friday night. Caroline Blackman shows you the moves.
Some kids may not think dancing is the coolest after-school event, but PE teacher Holly Snyder says her students look forward to Waddell Elementary's sock hop every year. It's become this really fun thing that helps kids sort of buy into the idea of dancing and moving together and having fun with their family. This is Snyder's 10th year at Waddell. She started the sock hop 6 years ago. It costs $10 per family, or families can donate 1 can of food per person to the Rockbridge Food Pantry. I really wanted to do something that was a school function that helped to raise additional funds for the PE program and also was sort of a community event all at the same time. Since then, Waddell principal Tim Martino said it has grown into one of Waddell's most popular events.
Movement, a lot of cheering, clapping, and the dancing. As much as some of the kids tend to grumble about having to dance, they absolutely love it.
I mean, my son's in 5th grade and he does not miss the sock hop. Parent volunteer Alice Bruno said her 2 daughters put a lot of hard work into their dance numbers.
Oh, they loved it. They asked about it all year. My new kindergartner was really excited that she was going to get to do it.
PTA President Summer Sullivan said the money raised will go toward a new playground. I'm Caroline Blackman with the Rockbridge Report.
That's all for today's Rockbridge Report.
Join us again next Thursday and visit our website at any time at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Thanks for watching.